Daygame 3.0. Who is it for? I'm hoping everybody in this room does Daygame. If you don't, then keep quiet, right? Don't ask me any questions about what do I say to a girl, how do I stop a girl, what's the line, what do I text her, where do I take her on a date. I don't want to hear any of that, all right? Just for the benefit of most of the guys in here, they're doing Daygame. They've done over a few hundred cold approaches. They can get phone numbers. The phone numbers don't all flake. They can go on some dates, and they've had some lays. The collective lays in this room are amazing. Loads of the guys here I've taught. Guys have been doing it for years. The experience in this room is amazing. So I shouldn't be going over the London Daygame model or very basic techniques, all right? If you want that stuff, it's all free. It's all on YouTube. Start with beginner Daygame. That's more than enough for your first 100 sets. 1.0 is when you begin. So maybe you began in 2005 with Neil Strauss's The Game, like me. Maybe you began in the night. Maybe you began with another system. Maybe you taught yourself. You learned from a mate. 1.0, like me, was a building that was damaged. So there was no scaffolding on 1.0. That was the former me with girls. Not got a clue. Crumbling outside, crumbling inside. Some guys don't need much renovation. I needed to strip it back, start again. Basically bulldoze the former property and start again. Daygame 2.0 happened around 2009, 2010. People started moving away from trying to put night game into the daytime, and they started coming up with some Daygame stuff. And that's the scaffolding. And that's where we all are now. We get addicted to the scaffolding. We learn all the techniques about how to build a house. Takes a couple of years. You need scaffolding. You know that I preach anti-natural game. You need to know where you are. You need to know the model. You need to know the fundamentals. You need to know social dynamics. And now we're into 2017. Time is flying by, and a lot of us have started to take off the scaffolding to reveal this thing that we created. And certainly the Daygame community is in the process of taking away the scaffolding. Is that helpful for a beginner? No. Because a beginner today might be starting in Daygame 1.0. You're not, but he is. So telling the beginner just to jump into this stuff, it's counterproductive. So stealth seduction's not for beginners. You're much better off going out there and jumping in. So we're going to be looking at what to do when you take the scaffolding away. And if you've seen stealth seduction, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, but I'm really hoping a lot of people have. I hope it's done its job in filling in the stuff that I can't explain verbally or on YouTube. The only way to learn the finesse, the finer points of this, is either to watch somebody do it live in front of you, and your brain, through osmosis, goes, ah, right, he's doing that and I'm doing that. Oh, wow, I didn't know you could do that. Oh, wow, that's fast. That's interesting. That's how I learned Daygame. Or now, no excuses. Please don't email me and say, Tom, what do you do on a date? Because there's 17 hours of me with 17 girls in whatever, 16 countries. Yes, British. Yes, American. Yes, Canadian. Yes, in London. Yeah? Yes, 17-year-olds, 18, 19, up to 30, 31, married. Yes, with boyfriends. Yes, Muslims. Hardcore Christians. Yep, Asian. Shit tests. And I got some interesting feedback on this product straight away. A guy said, Tom, it's not a Daygame product. You tricked me. I said, what do you mean, man? He said, it's not a Daygame product at all. It's a dating product. It's an escalation product. And he's quite right. None of you in this room should need a Daygame product. Daygame just means going to collect solid phone numbers. Yeah? And that's advertised in the community and online as the mountain, isn't it? Climb Mount Everest, get phone numbers, and all will be well. And the guilty secret of the pickup community is that, as we say, you can't fuck a phone number, right? You hide the flakes from your friends, even your wings. You pretend you're pimping it. A guy watches you and goes, oh my God, man, 6 numbers in a day. That is nuts. You must be Hugh Hefner, this is crazy. And you know inside that the real issue is something far deeper. So we go from Everest, or rather not deeper, higher, deep inside. The real issue is not Everest, but K2. If anybody knows about mountains, Everest is almost a walk-up, you could say. You can be dragged up it by Sherpas from the south route. But K2, that's the prize, okay, to summit K2. No one's done it yet in winter. And really dating and escalating and pulling the trigger and going from the nice primary school teacher to trying to be a bit of a Hank Moody, that's a whole different thing. So it's a bit sad, really, that you can master Daygame and then nobody tells you you've got another mountain to climb. And hopefully we're in this position now, that we can get dates, but they're not really going your way. You're not hitting 50%. Or you're not hitting younger, hotter. Something's going wrong, because you can do the Daygame. I'm hoping you're all nodding and saying, yeah, I can do the Daygame, Tom. But anyway, we have to talk a little bit about Daygame, because it's called Daygame 3.0. So if you've got Stealth Seduction, there's a handbook. Download the handbook, it's free. And in the handbook, I go through the London Daygame model and the Daygame you see me doing. Okay? I'm going to add just a few more little observations to my Daygame now. What am I doing? This is not about the London Daygame model. This is about what I do when I go out. So if I go out today to do Daygame, how do I see Daygame with the scaffolding off, right? None of this I would say to a beginner. That's the disclaimer. If you're watching this and you're a beginner, you have to go back to the scaffolding. Don't try this, all right? So what do? I see a girl in any daytime situation, and the only thing my brain says, it doesn't say run, front stop, distance, hand, IOI, and it doesn't say any of that. As soon as I see a girl, even upstairs when Craig and I got a drink, and the barmaid just looked up and gave us a cheeky little smile, and my brain said that. So that's all I think about. I divide my Daygame into two parts, and part one is this. So I see another human being. You can even do it on guys in Starbucks if you want a free coffee. It works. See him as he's just about to say, what would you like? And figure that. Okay? Why it works is because of this. You're basically putting somebody in a box, a funny box, the wrong box, and you're saying, go on, climb out. I'm watching. Go on, climb out. And once you've got the knack of it, it's very easy. You can go up to a human being, stick them in a box, and say, go on, get out. And they scramble around, and girls, you know, go all floppy and flick their hair and go giggly and red. But it has to be based on this. So the big problem we're going to talk about with most of our Daygame in this room is the nice guy Daygame, is the social Daygame, is the chatty Daygame. I know you've learned stacking, but a lot of my students learn stacking wrong. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I explained it incorrectly. So they go up to a girl, they say, hi, you look really nice. You look very German. Oh, okay. You look kind of like you work in a bank. Okay. All right. Now that is the old stacking model, but that is not that. That is not putting someone in a box. Flirtation is friction. To lie to match, you need the friction. Okay? What is friction? I've said this a million times on YouTube. How do you flirt? Come on. Accuse playfully. Remember, this is not night game, so we're not doing hard negs. Some of my students go in with a real hard neg, and she looks angry. So you're not calibrated. Yep. What's attraction? Come on. Breaking rapport. How do we break rapport? Tease. We push. We challenge. We role play. We storytell. I don't need to tell you any of this. But that's what I mean by that. You cannot go in with rapport. It's very hard to get out of. So make it a habit to put her in a box, accuse her. And if you've seen Stealth Seduction, every time I go in, it's with an accusation. Am I lazy? Yes. Do I always say the same accusation pretty much? Yes. Unless it's obvious that she's carrying something really weird, like she's carrying a teapot or something. Yeah, that's a really funny accusation. But if she looks like a plain Jane, most girls, you know, Oxford Street, Fifth Avenue, they kind of look the same. So have something ready. No excuses in this room. I shouldn't have to teach anybody accusations. You can just nick all of mine. They're all on YouTube, okay? So you look nice, you look suspiciously happy. You look nice, you look like a dreamy astronaut. You look nice, you look like you've just stolen something, yeah? You look nice like a cat ambling down the street in the sun, or maybe a tiger. Are any of those improvised? No. Do they work? Yes. So don't make it harder. Guys are writing to me saying, what's the assumption for this? What's the assumption for Japanese girls? What's the assumption from girls from Ohio? I don't give a shit. Just don't make it hard. The purpose of all this stuff is to reach the magical moment of hook point. We shall come back to hook point. The purpose of attraction, that stupid stuff, is just to reach the magical moment of hook point. As soon as I've reached hook point, my brain tells me the second part of my model, and this is the part that I still struggle with, especially when I'm recording a YouTube infield or stealth seduction. I knew I had the camera on me, so the temptation is just to not rapport. No, what's my temptation? What's my bad habit? Attraction. Attraction is addictive. And when you become good at flirting and teasing and challenging and storytelling and being cocky, and it's like a comedian who knows the jokes are going to work. I know the jokes are going to work. And I know that some fuckers are going to watch it on YouTube. So I think, right, go on, lay into her. Demolish her. Keep going. She's loving it. This is the trap of girls, yeah? She's laughing. And I forget she's hooked. And many times with students that have done a lot of night game, I have to say to them, imagine a flashing red light above her head. As soon as you sense during the day that she's hooked, stop. Stop gaming. We love game. But stop gaming. It's like the fisherman who's just pulling way too fast, and we're going to come back to that. You got to stop. We got to flip it. We got to dial down our energy. We got to ground it. So in my head, a little voice is saying to me, Tom, make it solid, make it solid, make it solid. Don't be a monkey. Make it solid. Okay, over to you. How do we make it solid? Get investment. Ground it. I want to take a bit of credit for the grounding concept. I gave it the name grounding because I noticed that my numbers would flake if I didn't ground. Can anybody define what he means by grounding?
Telling a bit about yourself.
Exactly. Telling a little bit about yourself. Just say 3 things about yourself. Don't come across as a pickup artist. It's the daytime, right? You're not in Tiger, so you have to give her a little bit of grounding. So I weave into the second half, I say, yeah, my name's Tom, I'm from Wales, I used to be a teacher, and now I travel. Anyway, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So she goes away thinking, yeah, he was a funny guy, he was a very cocky guy. He called me a tiger and a cat and all that weird shit. But I think his name was Tom, I think he's from Wales. Oh, he's a teacher. Okay, he's normal. So when I have a coffee with that guy or a beer, he's not going to be a clown for 2 hours. All right? And if we can get her to invest, that is the highest level, whoever said investment. Flipping the script. Absolute gold. We'll come on to that. Okay. Some feedback from students that Craig and I teach. You show them beginner day game. There's some guys out there that have watched every single one of my videos. They've made all the notes, and they deliver my lines 100%. And that's the email I get. Wow. I shouldn't have to explain to you why it's not about the words, it's about the subcommunication, yeah? Verbal is the poor man's non-verbal. And think about a comedian. We could all go out tonight, Leicester Square, Comedy Store, it's an amazing venue. Go to the late show, it's much better because everyone's pissed. And the heckling's a lot stronger, so the shit tests coming at those comedians are amazing. I think it's 11:30, Leicester Square. Best comedians in the world, perhaps, right? If you want to go and watch tight comedy. Why am I talking about tight comedy? Yeah, because if you wrote down the lines of Chris Rock or Louis C.K., and you got up tonight and you delivered those lines, they would be appalling. Same lines, same jokes. So great comedy is in timing, is in expression, is in body language. He's made those sentences look extremely natural, and people watch a Chris Rock show and go, wow, he just flows, man. He doesn't flow. He's tested that material. They go up before Edinburgh, comedians do Soho shows. They test their material, they refine it. And the art of Daygame is to make the scaffolding look invisible. So she thinks, wow, that was so spontaneous. The thing you said about France and the pirate, that was amazing. She doesn't know that I've said it 1,000 times before. So we need some soul. And what's missing in Daygame 3.0? What's missing now with some YouTube guys doing Daygame? What's missing with a lot of the community is soul, a character, heart. Don't be Tom Torero. Don't be a guy you've seen on YouTube. You need to be, however stupid that advice is, eventually you need to be you, as in your timing, your mannerism, your body language, your jacket. There's no point going out and buying the jacket that you saw on YouTube. When Craig and I go to a city, we don't even have to anymore see him talking to a girl. As we're walking down the street, Craig just goes, Daygamer. Because he's got the same jacket, same jeans, same boots. There's nothing wrong with that. We've created a subculture. But come on. Right? You've got to love Daygame. I love Daygame. You've got to love women. Don't worship women, but you've got to love women. You've got to love pickup. And there's some guys I met in Toronto walking around with stony faces, angry, tired. Choose another hobby. Right? Get into darts. Get into football violence, whatever. But if you're going to do Daygame, love it. I don't want anyone else sending me recordings of just these awful parrot lines. If you still think that's going to work, you just don't understand pickup. Because charisma is power. Half of charisma is you've got to be powerful. So you're doing the right thing. You've got your body language. You've got your leather jacket. You've got your stern face. Hey, I think you look nice. You're overcoming a shit test, but it's all too heavy. And what many of my students lack is the lightness. Yep, Tyler would say the freedom from outcome. So you have the intent, but you don't have the freedom from outcome. I know it's a catch-22 situation, because when you're getting into Daygame, you want the lay, you want the number, you want the date, but you've kind of got to show that you don't. So you've got this paradox. Like in life, it's the most frustrating paradox of pickup. She's in your bedroom and you really want the lay, right? Especially if you know it's going on stealth seduction. But at the same time, you've got to completely pretend that you don't. It's so difficult to achieve that balance. But that's what I mean. Too many guys are missing out the warmth. Maybe I was lucky that I used to teach school kids. So I used to finish school at 6 o'clock and I was full of warmth. Because when you spend time around 6 and 7-year-old kids, it's quite fun. And then I'd go into Covent Garden and I think I still had that cheekiness about me. The best pickup guys across the world, and I've met most of them, they all have that boyish cheekiness about them. It's very hard to translate that word if you're watching this in America. I cannot translate cheekiness or banter. But God bless Great Britain and all who sail deep inside her, because British people just get it. And if you've seen Alfie, or if you've ever seen early Russell Brand, you just get it. And if you're missing that, your Daygame will not work. And your pulls will not work, and your seeding won't work. It will be creepy, it will be heavy. Next biggest sticking point, hopefully not with you guys, but with the guys that Craig and I teach, is that they go up, they deliver the opener, they deliver the stack, and then they expect magic. Because they've seen it on YouTube, so you say, hey, I think you look nice, you look like a French pirate. She doesn't hook. Certainly in London she doesn't hook. In New York, fuck, good luck, you know. She ain't going to hook. And he comes back and I say, why did you leave, man? He says, oh, she didn't hook. She looked at me funny. That's the best one. She looked at me funny. She said she had to go. Her feet were moving. It just felt weird. You lazy bastards. You lazy bastards. You approached her. You do the work. She doesn't know anything about you, right? If you've got really good looks, you can kind of play into that. She might hook a little bit easier, right? But you've shown no value other than going up to her and saying, hi, you look nice. And I wish that worked. 1 out of 100, it does work, doesn't it? And you're like that, thank you, God. She's just a blatant yes girl and you did jack shit and it's awesome. But most of the time you do the work. If you're living in London and you're living in New York, those are the two toughest cities, I would say, where you go in ready to fight. You do not back down. You have something ready to say. If you still don't have a stack and a story, then you shouldn't be in this room. something must be lazy, you know, that it's all out there and you just haven't been bothered. I'm ranting at you now, but maybe some of you need this. You haven't been bothered to learn a stack. You can't be bothered to learn 2 minutes of comedy material. How do you expect to survive in Edinburgh Festival? I learned at least 5 minutes of talking. Even when I learned indirect game on the steps of Trafalgar Square, I had 5 minutes of material, copied word for word from the game, ready to say. So even if there was an awkward silence, I launch into my next story. All the credit to this goes to Mystery, because he used to nag people as well. He said, have 3 stories ready. Have 3 teasers ready. Have 3 qualifications ready. Have a DHV story ready. If you can't be bothered to do that, you know, you're not taking it seriously. That slide should have been really where it said soul and warmth, because this is an old pickup concept, but it's not really talked about anymore. I think pickup instructors just assume everybody knows it. Have people come across this term from 2009, 2010? It's a very old concept that we forget. What does it mean? Assume familiarity when you're doing Daygame. Yeah, someone said connection. Connection's a trap. I would say it's not connection, it's assuming you've known them for ages. So if you walk into the pub tonight with your mate, that's how you behave. So you need to, as I said, walk up to the girl with that mind frame of, I already know her. It's no big deal. She's my little sister. She's my, high school friend. I've slept with her a million times. She's goofy. I know that, girls paint themselves up. I know inside she's just a goofy character. And that makes it much easier to go up and rip into her, take the piss out of her. Girls appreciate it, yeah, especially the hotter you get, like the London Fashion Week. Girls, they're so used to being worshipped and guys to tiptoe around them that if you can just go up and accuse and put her in a box and assume familiarity, that's half of the work. And if you watch the Stealth Seduction dates, right from the moment she turns up, if somebody was watching that girl and I, they would assume I had known her for years. Because I'm not all formal and stiff. It's not a job interview. I don't stand up to greet her. I miss out all the boring small talk now. I launch straight into a little story or a little tease. I lean back. I yawn. I take the piss out of her shoes. Straight away. And she relaxes and she goes, oh, thank God this guy's not going to kiss my ass for 2 hours. All right? And she doesn't consciously know this, but on a subconscious level she feels that you're not putting her on a pedestal. Vis-a-vis, you must be on the same value level or higher. This is why this stuff works. My dad used to say this to me, and all the successful day gamers I know repeat this mantra. Either you can remember that mantra, it's much easier to remember that mantra. Girls are puppies, girls are cute kids. Not in a weird way. The puppy one's probably better because you don't have to explain it as much, right? She's a puppy. I made a YouTube video on this and I got slammed by some social justice people, but that's not why I took it down. There's a weird reason about the dog in that video why I had to take it down. She's a puppy. So you've got this whole community of men online, I understand, who are understandably angry. They're angry because they're lonely. They're angry because they're not getting laid. They're angry because maybe they've been lied to by pick-up promises. They're angry because they got divorced. They're angry because they lost a lot of money to a coach. They're angry because their kids were taken away from them. And they're angry because women reject them. So the majority, unfortunately, of the pick-up community online is angry. And that's where you get the I hate fucking women, fucking bitches, just go your own way, forget women, they're awful. She shit-tested me, I can't believe it. I went up to her and she started asking me these questions. If you've seen that YouTube video of me in a cafe in Poland with a very, what looks like, aggressive girl. And interestingly, in the same shopping mall, one level up, I shot another video with a girl on an escalator. Same mall, same kind of girl. Both of them extremely prickly. And I still get emails and comments about those videos, and the comments say, what a bitch. I wouldn't date a girl like that. She's just horrible. Like, why did you even stick in there? So if you're not familiar with shit tests and how girls respond, you'd look at those videos and just think, fuck, women are horrible. Like, women are nasty, especially in Russia and Ukraine. Jesus. I'm giving up on this world of pickup. They're all bitches. Whereas if you just flip it, as soon as you can, as soon as you get into the community, flip it. And start to just think, women are lovely puppies. And they're cute, and you go up to a puppy and, you play with it. If you get all aggressive and overly dominant on a puppy, it will be afraid, it will learn to bite you, it won't show you respect. And certainly when you're teaching children, most teachers out there are angry, shouty teachers. When the kids are getting loud, the teacher goes louder. She's trying to rule, he's trying to rule with an iron fist. That creates resentment. You get into a frame battle, which isn't a healthy frame battle. And this is what I would say more than 50% of day gamers and pickup guys are doing. They misunderstand frame battles, they misunderstand shit tests. They actually don't like women. The majority of school teachers don't like children. That's a fact. I spent 9 years around school teachers. They shouldn't be in the profession, but for whatever reason they are. They hate kids, they take out all their aggro, and you just get into this amazingly strong frame war. So, you can change all that just by thinking, look, a puppy needs your help. A puppy likes rules. A puppy likes to be led. A puppy doesn't respond well to really serious conversations about politics or religion. A puppy doesn't respond well to a very intellectual discussion about Plato. A puppy likes, picking it up, taking it into the garden, chucking a ball, doing stupid faces, making stupid noises. It's just fun and it's cute. And puppies are one of the greatest things in the world, along with teaching kids. It's just a lot of fun. So if you go in and you see Daygame like that, I'm trying to take the aggro out of some of your approaches. And only you know that. You know it on a very instinctive level, whether you enjoy the company of women or you want to get revenge. And half of the emails I get every day are fucking angry. Like that, I think that guy shouldn't be around. Shouldn't be talking to women. Multi-stacking. So, again, you wouldn't tell this to a beginner on a boot camp. You tell the beginner, look, just go up, say, hi, you look nice. You look very dreamy, suspiciously dreamy. There you go. That's enough. Okay? But if you watch Stealth Seduction, you start to think, well, hang on a minute. Tom's throwing out one fishing line, and at the same time, Tom's throwing out another one, and another one, and another one. Or you can think about it like a fishing line with many hooks. So I'm a bit sneaky. I know that if she doesn't hook on one subject, she might hook on another. So I often combine my stacking. Mystery used to call it multi-threading. It's not my concept. So I'll give you an example. You can say, hey, I had to come and say, you look really nice. What I noticed about you was this suspicious, dreamy French walk. Very artistic. Not autistic, artistic. Yeah, very French gait about you. You could be an abstract painter throwing paint at a wall. So if you unpick that sentence, I've said dreamy, French, artistic. I might throw in another one, get all four. And I know she's going to respond to one. So she might pick up on the French thing, or the art thing, or the dreamy thing. All right? I usually throw in, you look like you've done some meditation, or you do a lot of yoga, or you've just done, you must be from California because you're so relaxed. One of them's going to hook, so try that. If your hooking's a bit boring, try some multi-hooking. And if you want to steal all my stuff, it's all in Stealth Seduction. Okay, the thing that's most applicable for guys in this room, intermediate purgatory, intermediate problems. Again, not really much use telling a beginner this, because he's got so much anxiety, he needs to think about stopping, complementing, stacking. What's the purpose of the stack? To get the topic. And here begins the nightmare. Here is the bread and butter of Daygame. A good Daygamer, a great Daygamer, is a great improvisational speaker. How do you become a great improvisational speaker? You can take improv classes, but that's not how the good Daygamers did it. It just comes from hours and hours and hours of talking to random strangers and them throwing a topic at you. She'll throw a place at you. And with my students who are intermediates, they haven't realized that when she gives you the topic, you have to do a little bit more work, or actually about 1 minute to 2 minutes more work. You have to tell a story. No, it's not a serious story. You're not talking about the population size or the politics of that city or the fact that your sister went to that city and she had a good time. You're ripping into her, you're accusing, you're putting her in a box, you're teasing, you're challenging, but it's you telling a story. Catch 22. If you're nervous, A, you don't hear the topic. If you record yourself doing Daygame, you'll know this. You'll listen back and say, fuck, she said Brazil. I fucking miss Brazil. And she said tennis. I miss, fuck. Like, because in the moment, you're flooded with adrenaline. So the solution for this catch-22 is to learn a set story. Maybe lower intermediate, okay? Intermediate and above, you should be riffing and freestyling and really having fun. This is my favorite part. She gives me a topic like Ernest Hemingway, or she says Cuba, or she says economics, and I feel like I call it the Tom Show. To my students, I say, ladies and gentlemen, the Tom Show, starting from now, economics, and off I go. And I keep talking until she hooks, or she walks off. And this is hard. Sounds easy, but if you've ever done improv comedy or stand-up, it's fucking hard. So later on, we're going to have a little exercise where we throw a topic at our wing, at our neighbour, and you're going to riff, and then you're going to throw one back. You can play it online. You can do random word generator. It's free. Sit in your bedroom, do it. You can do Google Images, pop up the images, tell a story about the girl. Next girl. Next girl. Just type in London street fashion. Not guys. Well, you could do it on guys. You could tell stories. What are you telling stories about? You're looking at where are they from? What is her job? What is she up to right now? What is the weird, geeky, nerdy thing you notice about her? That's basically all you can riff on, okay? Okay, I'll reveal the story I teach to upper intermediates. And I always teach geography when I travel. So that means I say, hey, you look nice. What I noticed is you don't look like you're from New York. I'm guessing you're from Chicago. And she says, now I want somebody in here to just put up their hand and give me a place in America that's quite small, or maybe I've never heard of it. Springfield. That sounds like The Simpsons. There we go. That's what I probably would have said. Springfield, as in The Simpsons. But that's not the set story. I'll give you the set story that I teach guys that want to learn storytelling. Springfield, really? That's a coincidence. My friend's just come back from Springfield, actually. He was there a couple of weeks ago. He said, lovely place, obviously very friendly people, very attractive people. See you later. But he did say one thing about Springfield. And she's always like, what? What about Springfield? He said that he went out in the evening, he was with a couple of mates, went out to a local bar, you all know it, one of the good bars downtown, leaning at the bar, just having a chat with the blokes. Two girls, I kid you not, two girls from Springfield came up to him. They approached him. He couldn't believe it. They were flirting, they bought him a drink, then they brought him shots. This is where it started to get weird. Fast forward, 2 hours later, he woke up in a park, no jeans on. Right? That story works for any place in the world. Maybe not Saudi Arabia, but probably, yeah, in Saudi Arabia. Crazy shit goes on. So don't be lazy. You lazy fuckers. Stop emailing me and telling me you don't have a story. Now you have a story. Yes, you've got to adapt it. Yes, you've got to test it. Yes, it's in the delivery. I've told that story thousands of times, yeah? Sometimes I say there were no trousers, or his watch was missing, or, you know, you can get pretty kinky, depending on how far you want to push it, yeah? But don't be lazy. Come on, write a story, learn a story, have a story. A story that fits everything. I'll give you the second template for the job, because half of the Daygamers in here probably do the geography stack, and the other half of you do the job stack, which is, hey, you look nice. What I noticed about you is you look very serious, like a corporate banker. All right, that's a job stack. And she replies, I want another person to put up their hand and give me quite a random London job.
Lawyer?
It's too common. I always teach law.
Teacher?
Yeah, they're quite common ones. But I'm going to use both of them to show you how easy this is. She says the topic, ladies and gentlemen, the Tom Show, starting from now. Really, a teacher? That's a coincidence. I live with a teacher. She said, you guys work bloody hard, don't you? I can see it in you. You know, you've got that about you. You're a hard worker. You're very focused walking down the street. You work very hard. But she did say, in the night, teachers/lawyers are some of the craziest drinkers. Is that right? I can imagine you on the table doing the shots, karaoke, but I think I've seen you actually. Yeah? Same template as when I think of Springfield, I think of nice weather, good food, lovely people, you know, very attractive, but, and then you stick the knife in. Okay? Don't be lazy, learn a story. All right, let's get back to more complicated things. A beginner doesn't need to think what's the purpose of attraction, he just needs to learn attraction. But we, who are all addicted to attraction, hopefully, especially if you do night game, or you have some beers, what's the purpose of attraction? It sounds easy, but it's not. Come on. It's bait, shows value. Chemistry, these are all quite vague. Yeah, these are all true. True? True. Who said that? Who said that? Excellent. He's basically right, but we can say it more politely with the word that I would say to my mother. Compliance. Whether we're Bible sellers, Jehovah's Witnesses, politicians, advertisers, or pickup artists, we're looking for compliance. So read Cialdini, Principles of Persuasion. All this monkey stuff that we're doing, making her laugh, bouncing her to the side of the street, spiking her out, taking her phone number. I often say to my students, do you know what all this is for? They're like, no, not a clue. And basically on the street I say, it's to fuck her. Oh yeah. You get so caught up in the thing about, I must do the stack, I must take the number, I must do the instant date, I must kiss her. You forget, we're looking for compliance. An ultimate compliance, where there would be a yes girl, no game, Mystery used to call it fool's mate, is you walk up to a girl in Starbucks, you go, hiya, and she goes, hiya, do you want to come back to mine? You go back to hers, you take off your clothes, you have sex. Imagine that, it's never happened to me. But if you've got full compliance, you need no game. This is why good-looking guys who play good-looking guy game have a slightly skewed view of compliance. They'll often say things online like, well, you don't need game. Because I just go into all bar one and I get fucking compliance. She just comes outside, it's easy. And he's right. He is actually right. It would be stupid for a very, very, for a celebrity. Imagine Bieber in a club starts running game. The girl's like, what are you doing? I've already said I was going to come home with you. Just keep your mouth shut, So when we smell compliance, this is a serious point, gentlemen. It's not a theoretical point. It's a serious point. When you smell compliance in any form, you think, okay, I've got what I want, and now I need to move on to the next bit of compliance. Okay, I've got what I want. I need to move on to the next part of compliance. And if she's there, starry-eyed, it's the same day late, she's a backpacker, Canadian in Leicester Square, staring at you, saying, I'm not doing anything now. I'm really lonely. Skip the fucking game. You've got compliance. Sounds stupid, but if you don't understand that point, you'll take her on 5 venues and do all that game. You don't need to. We've already said that. Suspicion, frostiness is normal. And if you've day-gamed Eastern European girls, I have to say South American girls as well, Japanese girls, basically any girls. If she's high value, like a catwalk model this week in London Fashion Week, she has a right to be suspicious and test you. Who is this guy? Is he a man? Is he a mouse? Is he a cheesy pickup artist? Or is he the real deal? So I love it when they're skeptical. Too many of the intermediate students still have the eject button, so they open really nice, they stack really nice. As soon as she brings up something weird, they bail. And Craig and I are quite nasty. We just make them run back immediately. Craig's tougher than I am. It's like good cop, bad cop. Just right back in. Back in. Follow her back up the escalator. It's fucking weird now. You've made this weird. Go back in. Go back in. Do you remember the one in the Hollywood Strip, Craig? The guy, you made the guy go into Subway. Poor guy. Because it went from quite a low-pressure day game situation on the street to as she was ordering her fucking Subway. He said, you've got to go back and ask for the number because she looked at him weird or something and he ejected. So no intermediate day gamers should be surprised. All right. If the seminar is really about one thing for day gamer dating, is this. Because this was me, and this is a lot of you guys. Maybe there's some real sadistic bad boy blokes in this room, I don't know. But I'm guessing, based on my student data and my Skype data, 99% of us are in this problem. So Daygame 2007, 2008, from Neil Strauss and Juggler, and then Alex Coulson, even the early days of Daygame in London, it was different. Okay, because we didn't really know what we were doing. We just knew that we could chat and we could tell a few stories. It was very polite. We were doing it in boyfriend mode. I used to wear a tweed jacket. It's a bit tweedy, this one. But, yeah, I had no idea about lovers and providers, bad boys and good boys. I just thought you had to chat up girls. I thought you had to go on 3 or 4 dates. I thought the only option was to be her boyfriend. My mother and father had trained me to be a nice person. Primary school teaching had trained me to be a nice guy. British people have a problem with being too nice. Blame whoever you want, but this is your problem, my problem, probably. And how do I know that? Because if I watch your day game, have a look how many of those apply to you. Or if I watch your dating, or even if I watch you in the pub with your mates. Do you lean in? Do you do the American up talk? This is a nightmare. When Craig and I teach in America and Australia, it's almost impossible to get rid of. I feel sorry for American guys. Australians have it really bad, don't they? They sound really, everything sounds like a question. Everything's up talk. Hi, think you look really nice. This is the British problem. This is the Tom Torero problem still to this day. I don't like tension. And I don't like the silence. So I'm coping with that. Some of the videos on stealth seduction, I'm making mistakes. I'm breaking tension by rambling on or laughing at my own jokes. I used to do this nervous, like, humming. Don't break tension. Tension is incredibly powerful, as we'll come on to. Rapport seeking, that's all of us, because we all want to be liked by strangers. Available, this is your texting problem. You're too available. In the beginning, you need to pretend you're not available, and eventually, if you go on a massive number farming mission, you won't be available. Passive, that's getting better. A lot of guys, thanks to the internet, are learning to say, fuck it to the man, stick it to the man, take control of your life, lead. Apologizing, some of you do that on texting. Or when she throws a mega nuclear shit test at you, like you just want to sleep with me, don't you? And a guy will apologize. Agreeable, we've kind of said. Asexual, hard to cure that one, but that's why I say before you cash in your chips, hopefully at the age, not before the age of 35, you have to have some experience. Porn's not good enough, virtual reality is not good enough, strippers are not good enough. And paying for sex is not good enough. Can you see why? I know loads of guys that have a heavy addiction to strippers and hookers. But why doesn't that sort the nice guy asexual problem out? There's no game in it. Who's gaming who? Yeah, there's a lot of game in it. She's massively gaming him. And it's like talking to a shop assistant. You think, fuck, I'm the bee's knees here. I'm amazing. She's smiling, she's helping me, it's full compliance. This is amazing. The stripper's calling me baby and saying that I'm beautiful and that she's going to finish at 1 a.m. I am the fucking boss. Game over, right? She always says, oh, I'll get off work at 2, come back at 2. Yeah? It's fake compliance. And it's actually making the guy more asexual. Do I have a problem with it? No. There's pick-up guys that go to strip clubs and even sometimes pay for sex. But they know they can do it without the money. Yeah, they just have high sex drive, some of these guys. So you should know that the difference that we don't tell beginners is that there are 2 hook points. The difference being there's the social hook point, which is a false flag, because often a girl will be chatty. If she's polite, she might pretend to hook. In America, they're all quite chatty, so it seems like she's hooked. But an intermediate or an advanced day gamer will know that he hasn't reached the juicy stuff, literally, the real sexual hook point. Anybody know? You must have had sets where you think this is a sexual hook point. Sets, not sex. What's the how do you know what a sexual hook point is?
One that I look at the eyes when she's
Yeah. I would go, if I could only pick one thing, one pickup thing, it would be eyes.
Yeah.
Humans are so good at reading eyes. Like girls better than you. But if you're into pickup, you'll be very good at giving the eyes, reading the eyes, deeper eye contact, lesser eye contact, hostile eye contact, IOIs, IODs. All this is from infield, yeah? And I can't tell you how many girls have said, Tom, you have very dirty eyes. You have very dangerous eyes. Maybe it runs in my family, because before my grandfather used to tell a joke and my dad used to tell a joke, you could see they were just about to tell a joke. And the thing in our family was the eyes. You could see the eyes kind of sparkling, just about to tell a joke. So that's why a neg backfires, because if you say a tease or a challenge without this sparkling eye contact and the little smirk, it doesn't work. Whereas if you give her the cheeky eyes and the playful smirk, you can basically say anything. We've had students say to girls like, don't take this the wrong way, but you kind of remind me of a hooker. And I've seen that work. In Belgrade, I've seen a student use that very successfully because he was so cheeky. Sexual hook point, the eyes. What are the other giveaway signs for a same-day lay? Come on.
You have extremely more compliance. I mean, when you do a couple of sets, you see how the girl behaves. But when you have more compliance than usual.
Yeah. It's suspicious, isn't it? And I'm often worried. Yeah. Who else might she be in Kiev? A pro. So if you travel to Eastern Europe or even Prague or even London, I've had it, you get full compliance from the girl as you say, hey, excuse me, I think you look really nice. And she's so good at giving the full signals. Turns out she's a pro. She's hustling you for something. Yep. Proximity, that's a big one. So if you invade her space, she'll hold the distance. Shaking her hand, so you know the trick, the Maradona move. Hi, my name's Tom. She won't let go. Redness in the face, flushed. Time of the month. Again, it sounds bizarre, but if you do a lot of day game, you can tell. The way she walks, a lot of my wings are very good at pointing and saying, she's ovulating. Watch this. And she is. Scientists still not quite sure how males are picking up on female ovulation. Human females hide their ovulation. If you want to know why, read Sperm Wars. But pickup artists are getting better and better at spotting it. Why is that important if it's the middle of her month, day 14, 15? And you're walking around at the square.
High sex drive.
High sex drive. And she's looking for lover, not provider at that very moment. So chance of a same-day lay, very high. Look for the flicking of the hair, look for the eyes. Mainly it's in the eyes. She'll be wearing tighter clothing. She's not sure why she chose high heels that day, but she did. In London, that's very rare. High heels at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Very suspicious, right? Is she going to a job interview or is it the time of the month? In Kiev, they all wear high heels, so it's not good. DHYD. Don't hide your dick. That's now the Daygame mantra. That's my mantra. I don't mean get it out in all situations. Like going through airport security. Don't hide your dick is a life philosophy that I'll talk a lot more about when I talk about black sheep. It sounds like one of those funny things, but actually if you think about it, it really matters because it stops you doing day game in nice guy mode. Day gamers are getting more and more direct, not verbally. Day gamers are getting more and more direct, more and more fast, more quicker. What's the grammar? Faster? Thank you. Day gamers are getting cheekier. Day gamers are getting more under the radar. Day game is becoming, as I always say, very, very dirty. I always say to night gamers, you think your night game story is dirty. Wait till you hear what happens in the middle of the day in Starbucks toilets, right? No alcohol. No alcohol. And that's good. I used to think that was a bit weird when girls said that to me. And sure, if you're a beginner, that's a bit worrying. Because she's your mirror, and the girl is afraid, literally, because you came in too close, you're not smiling, you're really intense, you don't have freedom from outcome. That's not what I mean. Girls on the feedback from Stealth Seduction, and you can hear the interviews in the product after, a lot of them said, when you approached me, I was nervous. It was like a wolf in a forest. And that is the best thing any girl could ever say to you. Because that's polarity, that's tension, that's sexual. If a girl's like, oh, lovely and smiley and happy and flowers and dancing and what a nice conversation and I can't wait to have coffee with you, I used to think that was good. No, no, no. If you've read Street Hustle, you'll understand why there's two different hustles going on. Even today on Oxford Street, there's two different kinds of guys hustling. And when I use the word hustle, it obviously created a lot of suspicion, a lot of hostility from girls and from guys who said, Tom, you're being manipulative. Like, you're being nasty. It's actually good when girls say that. But they were saying, you're hustling, you're faking your SMV, you're tricking girls, and I don't like it. Right? You shouldn't have called it hustle. It's not a hustle, it's a beautiful thing. I said, no, there's two hustles. The first hustle is that, and that's the one I used to play. You run up to a girl in nice guy mode with your tweed jacket on or your Armani shirt on, and you pretend you want to be her boyfriend. And this hustle is long, because you have to go on 4, 5, 6 dates. It works. Provider game definitely works. So if you run up and show her your watch and show her, you know, your penthouse and talk about your city job, you're going to get laid. But then you have, hopefully, you get laid, you have sex, and you do a runner. Right, we've all done it. You delete the contacts and you run. She feels fucking bad. You feel pretty bad if you keep doing this. I did it for a year or two. You leave all these girls thinking that you were the nice guy boyfriend. You just run away. You don't tell them you're seeing other girls. Maybe they find out and that causes fireworks. So yeah, I understand. When you get into game, you run that first type of hustle because that's all you know. You are the boyfriend. You think all there is a girlfriend, so that's the game you play. And you don't mind going on 5, 6, 7 dates. Then there's the other hustle, hustle number 2, which hopefully most of you in this room are running now. And this started around 2012, 2013. It was a kind of a collective decision where we said we don't want to lie anymore. Actually, it came from testing faster escalation. There was a few boys in London testing extremely rapid escalation. It was a bit weird. It was a bit uncalibrated. It was like, a suicide mission. They had read this popular book that was going around at the time, which basically said just go up to a girl, middle of the day, full-on sexual, ask her if she wants to come back to your house. If it's no, at least you went super direct. Super direct, and it was all super verbal. And it didn't work. But what we learned from it is that you could push it a lot further than you thought. We learned that you could have crazy same-day lays. You could get conservative girls. We'll talk about conservative girls. You could say quite extreme things. You could polarize. You could dress more rock and roll. You could go on just one date in London. And then Tinder came along and proved to all of us that the norm in London and New York is one date. So there was me going on 4 or 5 dates, looking at the Tinder boys thinking, fuck, maybe I'm choosing the path and she's following. Whereas if I had asked her back, maybe she did. She would have come. And I lived with a guy at the time in Marble Arch. Ollie will know him. And his strategy was just to go out, have one drink, try and even skip that drink, one venue, one drink, pull her back to the house. And week after week, day after day, girls would just keep coming back. And there was me and the rest of the boys going, fuck, we're taking him on 3 or 4 dates, man. We're doing it all slow. He's like, why are you doing it slow? Do it way faster. This is London, yeah? So that's the second type of hustle. In Street Hustle, I say she's in on it. It's secret society. You've heard the podcast. She's got a boyfriend, controversial. She's got a husband. But in London, a hot girl might have 4 or 5 boyfriends, yeah? She's in on it. She knows what you're doing. She doesn't want a relationship. She knows you're a player. She knows you have other girls. She goes along with it, and you're just a bit of fun. That's the second type of hustle. It's kind of win-win. It's symbiotic. Yeah, you can argue that in the end that girl will still try to stick her claws in, cut your balls off, even if she's bisexual. Eventually it ends up in the girl giving you an ultimatum, from my experience. But at least at the beginning you don't feel bad, because you're basically going up to her like, hi, yeah, I'm a bad man, you know what this is. She's like, yeah, I know what this is. You're polarizing the girls. She's like, yeah, okay, she sleeps with you. Maybe you carry on seeing her. Maybe you never see her again because she goes back to her boyfriend in France, yeah? But less people got hurt. You could argue that other people get hurt. But I find it a lot more satisfying, and it's just a lot more quick. It's a lot quicker. What's going on with my grammar today? And we'll finish here for now. Who's seen the YouTube video about this I put out? Just a few. I might play it later then. Because this is something I got sick and tired of talking about, really. Something that was taken out of context. Do many people know what RK means? Yeah. So a few years ago, when we started writing this stuff down, we stole an analogy from science. It's very geeky. It's from ecology. It's from biology. It was part of my degree. And you divide animals, or they used to divide animals, into R animals or K animals. And this is from a mathematical equation. R is things like rabbits that are not monogamous. They just breed like hell. And K is things like blue whales or elephants that are quite monogamous, pair bond for life, have very few offspring. And Daygamers took this literally to the point where I would do Skype coaching and a guy would say, hi Tom, I want to talk today about getting K girls. Or I'd say, hi Tom, are there any boot camps for R girls? And I started thinking, shit, we've created a monster here where guys are literally going out to Oxford Street thinking there are angels and devils. And there are two different games. And there are two different girls. And obviously these are the ones you have fun with and these are the ones that you marry. And it got that ridiculous that guys would go out hunting for K girls, guys going to Ukraine to look for their K girl. Guys almost looking down on girls that like promiscuous sex, like, oh, I've left London because of those cheap girls. Cheap. Now, what's the big problem underneath all of this? There is a real deep issue here if you really believe that. It's going to affect your game and it's going to affect your life. Anyone know this psychological problem? Yes, unrealistic expectations. Pedestalization, because they really believe that there are snowflake angels. It's linked, actually what it comes down to is the purity fantasy. And you would be amazed, even amongst active day gamers, even amongst day game coaches, there are many, many guys that have a purity fantasy still. So they're like, oh yeah, I'm just having cheap fun with the R girls, but one day, I shall meet my K. And why that's dangerous is A, it will fuck up your life. If you've been married, you'll know that. You go in with unrealistic expectations, Disney expectations. B, you're seeing things black and white, binary. Where am I, B or C? C, it affects your day game. Because guys are like, well, today is all about the rock and roll girls with tattoos. But that library girl, oh no, I won't try a same-day lay escalation with her. She's a good girl. Okay? So if you, even before escalating, you start putting girls into boxes, you shoot yourself in the foot. You go on the date with the librarian girl, going, well, there's no point even trying to escalate. You know, she said she was Muslim. That's what many students will say. She's from a conservative culture. There's no point escalating. Or they say, well, she's got a tattoo. She must be filthy. She must be filthy. No point having a relationship with her. Right? Wrong, 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 wrong. If you've done loads of day game, if you've done loads of dating, if you've had lots of lays, you'll know that it's a spectrum. You'll know that girls are shapeshifters, just like you. You can be a good boy. You can be a bad boy. I know you can. You can behave very well in front of your family. You can behave very badly when people aren't watching. Same with girls. The biology says it's about environmental pressure. you can take the same girl and put her in two different environments, and you have two different outcomes. The best example of this is Turkish girls in London. And I've had my fair share of experiences with beautiful, beautiful, lovely Turkish girls in London. I love them. In Istanbul, if you try to run the same kind of fast escalation, aggressive game, I didn't get good responses. I got very negative responses. The same girl, she flies to London to learn English for 6 months. They often go crazy. Same with that Saudi girl we met in Canada. Huh? As soon as you take them out of that environment, she goes from K to R. And then when she goes back to her family, she goes back to K. Same girl, different environments. Same thing with guys. Same girl, two different pickup artists. And I've tested this with the student because I got so annoyed with him saying she was a good girl. He ran the set. It didn't go very well. I went back in, same girl, and ran a different set. And he listened. I didn't get the number, but I went filthy, right? So the same girl on Oxford Street today, she can be approached by two different guys, and one of the guys will present himself as the nice guy boyfriend, and she will present herself as the sweet librarian. And then 10 minutes down the road, she's approached by another dude who's offering her something completely different, and she behaves in a completely different way. If you say that to the average guy on the street, he just doesn't understand. He says, well, she seems so nice. With me, she was so shy and lovely. She said she's an evangelical Christian. This can't be right. What? And I play the audio. I say, well, listen to this, mate. Listen to what she did when she went to Cyprus, right? And yeah, it's shocking. It's painful when you make that transition from Disney to reality, blue pill to red pill. It's upsetting if you come from a conservative background, but it's helpful. The reason I'm bashing on about this is that this really explains your nice guy day game. You're still running around looking for the special girls. And she looks so sweet. She's so quiet on the date. If you watch that Japanese infield from Stealth Seduction, she looks so sweet and innocent and nice. But little clues gave it away. And in the handbook, I tell you what those clues are. You know, one of them was the eyes. And there were little things she said about her taste in music. I just started thinking, right, like in Japan in general, there's something here where I can escalate fast. I escalated super fast, same day late. But the beginner would look at her and think, no way, she is fragile, man. She's a statue. You know? And guys will make these ridiculous assumptions if she says things like she's posh. Posh girls down in Chelsea, they're some of the filthiest, right? King's Road. They'll say she's religious. Again, not a valid argument. The religious girls are often the pressure cookers, yeah? They go nuts. They'll say she's educated. Oh, she said she was a ballerina. She can't be interested in sex. Fucking hell, man. If only you knew. Maybe you do know. I hope you do know. And we shall finish it there. After a 10-minute break, we shall talk about getting off the streets and getting indoors, especially in this weather, doing some indoor situational day game.